God of War Ragnarok releases November 9, 2022 on PS4 and PS5. God of War Ragnarok is a third-person sequel to Kratos' Scandinavian adventure in the slasher genre. The main theme of the sequel will be Ragnarok, the end of the world in Norse mythology.
When you are at your weakest.
In fear and doubt are a burden too heavy to bear.
Remember this. You are not alone.
In the first part of the restart of God of War, events unfold in the mountainous, snowy terrain of Scandinavia, where local gods do not like strangers. Kratos teaches his son to be not a boy, but a warrior, unable to show pity and compassion. They have to get out of Scandinavia, meeting on the way not only enemies, but also all sorts of allies. The sequel will take place several years after the events of God of War. During the passage, players will visit all 9 worlds, including Svartalfheim, Vanaheim and Asgard from the first part. The main opponents will be the goddess of love Freya and the god of thunder Thor, with his hammer Mjolnir. Fimbulwinter is in full swing. Kratos and Atreus must travel to each of the 9 worlds to find the answers. At this time, the forces of Asgard are preparing for the predicted battle that will end the entire world. Weapons and equipment: the Leviathan Axe, Blades of Chaos, and Guardian Shield return, along with new abilities for Kratos and Atreus. Fighting gods and monsters across 9 kingdoms, Kratos' Spartan skills as he defends his family will be put to the test like never before. Explore the kingdoms, travel through picturesque but dangerous landscapes, fight against various creatures, monsters and Norse gods, and help Kratos and Atreus find answers and allies. Skull and Bones releases November 8, 2022 for PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Skull and Bones is a naval multiplayer pirate game where players are challenged to become ship captains and challenge each other for dominance of the sea. The game offers several different competitive modes, different classes of ships, upgrading captains and much more. In Skull and Bones, players must go a long way from a simple pirate to the commander of an invincible armada, capturing enemy ships and improving their own in every possible way. The game features a rich customization system that allows you to turn ships into authentic works of art, studded with cannons, rams and other devices for waging war.
Society has rules. It decides where you belong and what you're worth.
The gameplay itself is reminiscent of naval battles from the Assassin's Creed series, but with various reservations. And so the golden age of piracy began. The renegade captains had at their disposal the most powerful weapon of the time: warships. Become a true pirate with the Skull and Bones progression system inspired by RPGs. Choose a ship that suits your playstyle and upgrade it with the items you loot. Use the best weapons and equipment and recruit the most experienced team.
Do not give up.
Open world for multiplayer game. Test yourself, fight both enemy factions and other players to get loot in the Indian Ocean. Stay alone, sea dog, or join a pirate gang and win in different game modes. Also, during the adventure, you will understand that the waters of the Indian Ocean are never calm. All the elements of the ever-changing open world of Skull and Bones are interconnected. Watch out for weather changes, conflicts and impending cataclysms. Also, do not forget about the team needs to be kept well fed and satisfied. From the looks of it, its members can mutiny if something goes wrong. One of the key features of Skull and Bones is called crafting. The team will collect various resources in the sea and on the islands in order to improve the ship later or create new weapons or equipment, according to the blueprints found. And probably the most anticipated Hogwarts Legacy game. A possible release date for Hogwarts Legacy is December 2022. Hogwarts Legacy will be available on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PC. Visit Hogwarts in the 1800s. Your character is a student holding the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the magical world apart. You are belatedly accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You have the rare ability to sense and manipulate ancient magic. Only you can decide whether you will protect this secret for the good of all, or succumb to the temptation of more sinister magic. Discover the feel of life at Hogwarts as you make allies, battle the dark wizards, and ultimately decide the fate of the wizarding world. Your legacy is what you make of it. Hogwarts Legacy is a role-playing game with a unique course of events that will not leave indifferent fans of adventure. You can create a witch or wizard depending on your desires. You can choose a faculty at the beginning of the game. At the start, you can change your character. As you progress through the game, gamers can develop their individual fighting style. As in any university, you will have friends and companions. After listening to the stories of companions, you can improve your abilities. They, in turn, will accompany you during the passage of the competition. The action takes place long before the events described by J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter, Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley, alas, the fans will not see.
Oh, hello, class. Please welcome the newest rose in our garden.
Shall we begin? Welcome to Year 5 of Charms. Now, this will be a crucial year in your education on the art of charm work, but I am confident that we will take hold with the passion and rigor requisite of such a challenge.
The best way to practice is by dueling. We'll start with you two.
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
You may begin.
Not bad for a beginner.
Whose threat he really is.
Players will be able to explore a completely recreated Hogwarts castle where they will attend classes, find dungeons, secret passages and more. The universe of the game will correspond to the lore of the magical world. The game is not a direct adaptation of the book. The Hogwarts Legacy fantasy will introduce you to amazing new locations and stories.
Perhaps you'd be good enough to blast each other to pieces on your own time.
Players will be able to explore a completely recreated Hogwarts castle where they will attend classes, find dungeons, secret passages and more. The universe of the game will correspond to the lore of the magical world. The game is not a direct adaptation of the book. The Hogwarts Legacy fantasy will introduce you to amazing new locations and stories. Players will be able to go out and walk into the Forbidden Forest after leaving the castle. You can also interact with the magical world. The first videos have already been published. They are very popular with Harry Potter fans. Looking forward to the release of the game. The Lord of the Rings. Gollum: The Lord of the Rings. Gollum will be released by the end of 2022. On PC, 2 generations of Xbox and PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 consoles, and Switch. The team did not give an exact date, but promised to share new information about the game in the near future. The events of Gollum will unfold in parallel with the first chapters of the Fellowship of the Ring. The plot of the game will be dedicated to Gollum's journey to Mordor, his capture by Sauron and meeting with Gandalf. According to the writers, they chose Gollum as the protagonist because they consider him one of the most interesting characters in the Lord of the Rings franchise. In many ways, the choice of Daedalic was influenced by the fact of the hero's split personality and his extensive knowledge of Middle-earth, which will affect the gameplay and the interesting moral choice.
They'll find us. They'll see us. No, stay filthy. oxes! Kill them! No! We must hide! We can't let them get their nasty, filthy handses on our precious!
The Lord of the Rings. Gollum will draw on the books of John R.R. Tolkien, and not on the film adaptation of Peter Jackson, so that all elements inherent in the universe are canon. Middle-earth Enterprises, which owns the rights to the franchise, approved of the work that Daedalic did on their project. All of its elements are fully consistent with the original source. Daedalic also clarified the genre of the upcoming title. It will be an epic adventure game with elements of stealth action and platforming. Players will take on the role of the cult hero of the Lord of the Rings world and help Gollum get into the most dangerous places in order to get the lost treasure. Gollum is weak but incredibly agile, and his tiny stature allows him to successfully hide from prying eyes. The first presentation of the gameplay shows Gollum overcoming obstacles, including underwater, hiding in the grass, and trying to face dangerous opponents. A number of canonical characters of the universe are also shown, in which we will meet in the game. Use your agility, cunning and stealth to survive and face the challenges ahead. Climb, cling and jump to avoid dangers or find something interesting. Gollum is not a fighter, but is quite capable of killing the enemy if the chance arises, or getting rid of him in more sophisticated ways. Your decisions and play style directly affect the character of Gollum. In the struggle between Gollum and Smeagol, his dark and light sides, it depends only on you whether villainous intentions or the voice of reason will prevail. One consciousness, two personalities, the choice is yours. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and also write your expected games in 2022 in the comments, and the games you would like to see in the next release. Thanks everyone, bye.